Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into a topic that I know so many of us struggle with: overthinking. It's that endless loop of thoughts, replaying conversations, worrying about the future, and analyzing every tiny detail until your brain feels like it's going to short circuit. It's exhausting, right? It can feel like you're trapped in your own mind, and it often goes hand in hand with anxiety and stress, seriously impacting our mental well-being. But here's the good news: you are not your thoughts, and you don't have to be controlled by them. There are practical, effective strategies you can use to break free from the cycle of overthinking, calm your mind, and reclaim your peace. In this video, we're going to walk through some of the most powerful techniques step by step. So if you're ready to quiet the noise and find some clarity, you're in the right place. Let's get started. The first and most immediate tool you have at your disposal is your own breath. It sounds simple, but mindful breathing is one of the fastest ways to pull yourself out of a thought spiral and anchor you in the present moment. 2. When we're overthinking, our breathing often becomes shallow and rapid, signaling to our body that we're in a state of stress. By consciously slowing it down, we send a message back to our brain that everything is okay. Let's try a simple technique together right now. It's called box breathing. I want you to inhale slowly through your nose for a count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, hold that breath for a count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Next, exhale slowly through your mouth for a count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And finally, hold the exhale for a count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's do it one more time. Inhale, hold, exhale, hold. Feel that? It forces your mind to focus on the count and the physical sensation of breathing, creating an instant break from the racing thoughts. Another powerful mindfulness tool is the 5-4-3-2-1 grounding exercise. This is perfect for when you feel completely overwhelmed and disconnected from reality. It uses your 5 senses to bring your awareness back to your immediate surroundings. You can do this anywhere, anytime. First, look around and name 5 things you can see. It could be a book on your shelf, a crack in the ceiling, the color of your socks, a tree outside the window, a pen on your desk. Really look at them. Next, identify 4 things you can feel: the texture of your shirt, the cool surface of the table under your hands, the feeling of your feet on the floor, the warmth of your coffee mug. Then, listen for 3 things you can hear. Maybe it's the hum of your computer, birds chirping outside, the distant sound of traffic. After, find 2 things you can smell: the scent of your soap, the coffee you just made, maybe even just the smell of the room itself. And finally, name 1 thing you can taste. It could be the lingering taste of your toothpaste, a sip of water, or a piece of gum. This exercise yanks your focus away from the abstract world of worries and plants, you firmly back in the physical world. It's an emergency stop for your overthinking brain. Now, let's talk about the thoughts themselves. Part of overthinking involves getting stuck in negative thought patterns, often called cognitive distortions. These are like funhouse mirrors for your mind. They twist reality and make things seem much worse than they are. Common ones include catastrophizing, where you expect the worst-case scenario, or black and white thinking, where you see things as all good or all bad with no in-between. The key is to become a detective of your own thoughts. First, you need to identify the thought. When you feel that familiar wave of anxiety, ask yourself, what am I actually telling myself right now? Write it down if you can. For example, maybe you made a small mistake at work, and your thought is, I'm going to get fired. That's catastrophizing. Once you've identified the negative thought, the next step is to challenge it. Ask yourself some critical questions. Is this thought 100% true? Is there any evidence that contradicts it? What's a more realistic or balanced way to look at this situation? Instead of I'm going to get fired, a more balanced thought might be, I made a mistake, and I feel bad about it. Everyone makes mistakes. I can learn from this and do better next time. It's unlikely I'll be fired for one small error. This process is called cognitive reframing. It's not about pretending everything is perfect. It's about finding a more accurate, less destructive perspective. Over time, practicing this weakens the neural pathways of negative thinking and builds new, healthier ones. You're essentially retraining your brain to be less reactive and more rational. It takes practice, but it's a game changer. Another incredibly effective way to combat overthinking is to get your body moving. Have you ever noticed how a good walk or a workout can completely change your mood and clear your head? There's a scientific reason for that. Physical activity releases endorphins, which are natural mood elevators and pain relievers. It also reduces stress hormones like cortisol. When you're focused on the physical sensations of movement, your feet hitting the pavement, the stretch in your muscles, your heart rate increasing, it's much harder for your mind to get stuck in those repetitive thought loops. You don't need to run a marathon, a brisk 20-minute walk, a dance party in your living room, some stretching, or a bike ride can make a world of difference. And if you can, take that movement outside into nature. Spending time in a natural environment, whether it's a park, a forest, or by the water, has been shown to have a profound calming effect on the nervous system. It reduces rumination. That's the technical term for getting stuck on negative thoughts, and it boosts feelings of well-being. The combination of physical movement and the sensory input from nature is a powerful one-two punch against shifts your focus outward and reminds you that you are part of a much bigger, more beautiful world than the one spinning inside your head. So next time you feel your thoughts starting to spiral, try putting on your shoes and heading out the door. It might be the last thing you feel like doing, but it's often the best thing you can do for your mind. Let's move on to some practical, structured tools you can build into your routine. The first one is journaling. This isn't about writing a perfect diary, it's about getting the thoughts out of your head and onto paper. This is called a brain dump tour. When your mind is cluttered and racing, grab a notebook and just write. Don't worry about grammar, spelling, or making sense. Just let it all flow out. The fears, the worries, the what-ifs, the angry thoughts. The act of writing does a couple of things. It externalizes the thoughts, making them feel less overwhelming. When you see them on paper, they often lose their power, and you can look at them more objectively. It also helps you identify those recurring negative patterns we talked about earlier. You might start to see themes in your worries, which is the first step to addressing them. A second, and perhaps counterintuitive, tool is to schedule worry time. This sounds strange, but it's a technique from cognitive behavioral therapy that can be incredibly effective. Instead of letting your worries interrupt you all day long, you set aside a specific, limited amount of time, say 15 to 20 minutes each day to actively worry. When a worrying thought pops into your head outside of this time, you acknowledge it and tell yourself, I'll think about that during my scheduled worry time at 5 p.m. These gives you a sense of control. You're not suppressing the thoughts, you're postponing them. When your worry time arrives, you sit down and let yourself think about all those concerns you've collected. Often you'll find that many of them have already resolved themselves or seem much less important than they did in the moment. This containment strategy prevents overthinking from taking over your entire day. Finally, and most importantly, I want to talk about self-compassion. Beating yourself up for overthinking only adds another layer of negative thought to the pile. It's like being stuck in quicksand and struggling more, which only makes you sink faster. Remember that overthinking often comes from a place of wanting to protect yourself, to solve problems, or to be prepared. Your brain is trying to help, even if its methods are unhelpful. So, practice treating yourself with the same kindness you would offer a friend who is struggling. Acknowledge that it's hard, validate your feelings, and gently guide yourself toward one of the strategies we've discussed. Self-compassion is the foundation upon which all these other techniques are built. And please know that if overthinking is severely impacting your life, causing significant distress, or feels impossible to manage on your own, it's a sign of strength to seek professional support. A therapist or counselor can provide you with personalized tools and strategies, help you uncover the root causes of your anxiety, and offer a safe space to work through it. There is absolutely no shame in getting help. It's one of the best investments you can make in your well-being. You don't have to go through this alone. So, to recap, we've covered mindfulness and breathing, challenging and reframing your thoughts, using physical movement and nature, and implementing practical tools like journaling and scheduled worry time. Overcoming overthinking is a practice, not a one-time fix. Some days will be easier than others. The goal isn't to never have a negative thought again. That's impossible. The goal is to not let those thoughts control you. It's about building your mental toolkit so that when the storm of overthinking starts to gather, You know exactly how to find your anchor. Stets, thank you so much for watching and for taking this time for yourself. I hope these strategies are helpful for you. If you have any of your own tips for managing overthinking, please share them in the comments below. Let's create a supportive community right here. If you found this video valuable, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing for more content on mental well-being and personal growth. Take care of yourselves, be kind to your mind, and I'll see you in the next video.